Hi, welcome to Married Life at Holy Mustard. I'm Howard, this is Krystal. We're continuing our conversation about money. In the last video, we talked about how we believe that it's key and central to life and to married life, that we believe that God is an abundant God, that our attitude towards money is really our attitude towards God. And either we believe that God is an abundant God that provides for us all that we need, or we believe that God does not provide. That God does not give us enough. Today we're continuing that conversation, and we're looking at what economics calls the zero-sum game. Now, the zero-sum game is basically that idea that there is not enough in this world, and that in order to win at life, we have to be those that win at the resources of life. That we have to get enough resources, so they have to hoard enough because there's not enough to go around. It's kind of like that game of Monopoly. And in Monopoly, there's only so much money, there's only so much property, there are only so many houses. And the winner of the game of Monopoly is the one who gets the most. That's really the way that the world thinks. That to win at life is to get more. And that if I get more, it means someone else gets less. And that's just the rule of life in the world. That the world is ruled not by an abundant God, but by a world of scarcity. And that if we don't get what we need, if we don't get what's before us when it comes, that we're never going to get enough, and that somehow we're going to miss out on life, and that we will never win at this game of life.
Imagine a grand party. The kind that has the waiters that walk around with the trays with food and drinks. Imagine being a part of this kind of party where there's everything you need to celebrate at this party. Everything is provided. But then how weird would it be if all of a sudden you start grabbing the trays and hoarding the food and keeping it all to yourself? The reality is that's how our world is. We live in a cutthroat world where we want to keep what is ours. That we believe there are winners and losers, and if they're blessed, then someone else is not going to get a blessing. That we believe people are out to get us, so we've got to do what we need to do and keep everything close for ourselves.
And the way we really keep score in life is money. Mm-hmm. If you have more money, then you are winning in life. And that's a problem. Jesus tells a parable in Luke 12, verses 15 through 21. You're probably familiar with it if you study Scripture. If not, I encourage you to look it up. In it, he talks about a man who had a farm, and this year was just a great year. His crops produced in abundance, and he thought to himself, "What am I going to do with all this extra? What do I do with all this extra that I have?" And he said to himself, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tear down my barns and build bigger ones." Here's the key to that. You see, he already had barns that were full. He already had more than enough. And instead of using what God had provided in excess to be a blessing to others, he decided what he needed to do was hoard it, to hold on to it. He bought into the zero-sum game that he who dies with the most toys wins. But here's the reality, is he who dies with the most toys still dies. And their life, instead of being a life that is about abundance, really ends up being a life about scarcity, about scorekeeping. A life where somehow they believe that there is not enough, and they're never satisfied. If we buy into this idea that God is not an abundant God, and we buy further into the idea that we need to get the most, that we need to hoard everything that we can because we can't trust that God as a generous host is going to continue to bring all that we need to enjoy life, then what we're going to end up with is a life that is never satisfied. We're going to always want more. We will never be satisfied with what God has provided.
And that's where we want to leave it today. We want to leave you with this question, is what will it take for you and your spouse to be truly satisfied with what God has provided? Thanks for joining us at Married Life at Holy Mustard, where we want you to experience real faith in real life. Till next time.
God bless.
Hey, thanks for watching us here at Holy Mustard. We make videos about real faith and real life. If you don't want to miss any of our videos, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at Holy Mustard and get the latest and greatest. Thanks a lot.